Other people may join us as we go, but I'd like to kick off and say thank you everyone for joining us this evening. It's lovely to see you here. We can hear a bit more about the Aberdeenshire gift card. The idea is to go through the agenda, which I'll come on to in a minute, but my role is Town Centre Executive for Aberdeenshire Council, and my name is Suzanne Rind, and I will be your chair for this evening. So it's lovely to see some people coming along to find out more about this. So if I bring up the agenda, so we're going to start off by hearing from Nicola Hutchinson from Scotland Towns Partnership around the Scotland Loves Local programme. Then we'll hear from Lindsay Geddes, who's Town Project Officer for Aberdeenshire Council on the more local Aberdeenshire perspective. Then we'll hear finally from Alex McCrindle from Miconex about how the card actually works and how you can sign up for the scheme. Just to let you know that Nicola needs to leave at 6:45 at the latest. So if you have any questions for her, then we'll try and get those done first off. Just a bit of housekeeping first before we start. As you can see, there will be time at the end of the webinar for some questions. We'd encourage you to ask the experts that we've got here this evening if you have any questions or concerns or queries that you want to find out more about. You can enter your comments or questions into the chat bar on the side of the screen as we go along, and we'll pick them up at the end. Just to let you know that the webinar will be recorded and the slides will be available after the presentation. So I've just seen that question. Yeah, so we'll make sure that everyone gets a copy of those. So no need to take notes if you don't want to. You can concentrate on what's being said and we'll make sure you get it all afterwards. I think everyone is muted, but can I just ask everyone to mute their mic, and you're very welcome to have your camera on or off as you prefer. So without further ado, I would like to hand you over to Nicola, and she's going to take us through the first part of the agenda. Nicola.
Thank you, Suzanne. Good evening, everyone. So I just thought I'd start by giving you a little bit of background to Scotland Loves Local. Can you move on to this? There we are, lovely, thank you. Scotland Loves Local was launched as a high-profile multimedia campaign to support communities following the lockdown from 2020. The campaign was rapidly kind of adopted by bids and other stakeholders as a tool to support local businesses and to drive people to go back into their town and their city centres. The campaign highlights the need for us all to kind of think, choose and spend locally, and it's a message really we do think that is relevant for every community, and you know, it's all about putting localism and equality at the heart of everything that we do. Thanks, Suzanne. The campaign was launched, was promoted with a multi-million-pound campaign across every region in Scotland. I won't bore you with all the details because you'll be able to see that on the slides, but it included TV, radio and print mediums, and it was all about actually just getting behind the campaign to say to businesses, actually we're here, and to consumers for that matter, to say we're here and really consider thinking about supporting your local communities. And just to move on, I want to keep these really quite short and sweet for you. This is kind of only the beginning. Scotland Loves Local is really all about kind of longer term changes in communities, making communities fairer, stronger, greener and more sustainable places to be. You know, we're all about looking for opportunities to protect local jobs and enhance services and making communities better places for us to live, work and also to visit. And we continue with Scotland Loves Local to build partnerships across all economy sectors. There's an awful lot of work happening next year within the kind of the tourism sector to try and drive staycations, etc., and weekend breaks within Scotland. So that's a big work, piece of work that we're on next year. And we'll continue to work with government and local authorities and enterprise agencies just to ensure that they're behind the Scotland Loves Local messaging and adopting it as much as possible. So Scotland Loves Local, one part, which is why we're here today, is to talk about the Scotland Loves Local gift card. This was launched and spearheaded by the Scottish Government, and that was launched 2021. The gift card is all about ensuring that money stays local for longer, boosting local businesses, providing economic stimulus, protecting jobs and making communities stronger. A little bit about the gift card scheme. There's 32 gift card programmes covering each local authority area. And Miconex, Alex, who we'll come on to later in the presentation, are our commercial partners, and they provide all the support and the delivery of the gift card. So they do all of the technical things in terms of the gift card programme. The gift cards programme is free to access for every business in Scotland across all sectors, and the gift cards are sold via the gift card website scotlandgiftslocal.com, and where gift card recipients can see where they can also spend their gift online. So if you sign up to accept the gift card as a merchant, then you will be listed on the website. The gift card is really all about not just the word gift in terms of traditional gifting, but it's all about actually an inclusivity tool that can help provide support to all sectors within our society. So the 4 key pillars of how to use the gift card: consumer spend, which is all about driving footfall into town centres and providing an income stream for local businesses; fund disbursement, which is all about supporting low-income households or other communities and sectors of the communities who are in need; corporate rewards, which is targeting employers who may wish to give their employees, whether it's a Christmas gift or whether it's rewarding staff for long service, that sort of thing. And then sector-specific support. So that could be specifically looking at a programme which is targeting, I don't know, nighttime hospitality or travel or tourism or retail, many more opportunities to kind of use the gift card in that manner. Some of the highlights so far for the campaign: across Scotland, there's almost 5,900 businesses registered, and 3,500 of those are independent businesses, which is really what the campaign was all about. There's almost £7 million has been spent throughout Scotland across a wide range of sectors on the gift card. Over 579,000 of the Scotland Loves Local gift cards are purchased by consumers, and 120,000 of the gift card, £120,000 worth of gift cards have been purchased by businesses as corporate rewards across a wide variety of organisations. Several local authorities are using the gift card to disperse funds to low-income households. This year and moving into early next year, over £13 million has been dispersed or is being dispersed to households, which actually, as you know, the impact to people and businesses within those communities is vast. A lot of people are aware that Glasgow City Council had dispersed almost £9 million in August to households who were on receiving a council tax reduction. Over £6.2 million worth of redemptions have been made across 900 different merchants through Glasgow. And just as an example, a couple of examples here of how that really does impact on those local businesses. There's David Cox Butchers. They received 585 transactions and £14,000 through their tills through the gift card. And then a independent supermarket, again, they saw over 600 transactions, including many of the necessities such as bill payments, but they had £10,000 through their tills, which again, for these small businesses, you know, it was massive. It was a massive boost for them at a very tough time for independent retailers. I think that probably takes us on really quite simply onto the next stage of the presentation.
Hi, good evening all. I'm Lindsay Geddes, a Project Officer in the Regeneration and Town Centres team. And I'm just going to run through the details of the progress that we have made thus far with the initiative in its pilot year in Aberdeenshire and the lessons learned from our experience. And I'm then going to go on to outline some of the improvements that we hope to implement from those lessons in the coming year, which we are confident that will make the initiative successful in the longer term. Okay, so in terms of the progress thus far, the scheme was originally launched on the 23rd of November 2021 with funding from the Scottish Government, which was for a period of 12 months. The initial phase of the gift card scheme provided a relatively basic functionality where consumers purchase a gift card online and then it gets shipped out to their chosen address, which can thereafter be spent by the receiver in any shops or service providers that have already signed up. At the present, in Aberdeenshire, we have around 120 businesses registered and there are a variety of sectors represented. Whilst this is encouraging that we have some variety, in order for the scheme to be a success and to take off, we need as many businesses as possible to register to make the card more desirable for consumers. We're actively working with business groups in the Aberdeenshire towns to achieve this, and the assistance that has been provided thus far from the business associations and representatives is much appreciated, and it's hoped that we can continue this to promote the gift card far and wide and build on the initial year to make it more successful moving forward. So during the initial year, we've been gathering feedback, which we're looking to address in year 2. Okay, so in terms of the lessons learned from the initial year, the feedback that has been received is generally positive in that businesses that we have approached agree the scheme's a good idea for getting people back onto our local high streets and supporting local shops and services. They can see the benefits that registering their business will bring. From undertaking recent door-to-door promotions, it's evident that businesses welcome a face-to-face approach so that we're on hand to answer any questions on the spot with regards to the sign-up process. It was also evident during those door-to-door consultations that many of the businesses were not aware of the scheme's existence, and so we do need to step up the promotion and provide this continuously to raise awareness not only in the business community but also to ensure that consumers know of the scheme, where to access the gift card along with the participating stores, which is all key to ensuring a successful take-up. So we will call upon assistance from key people within the business community as this has proven to be successful with regard to business sign-ups. Not all businesses have a card swipe functionality to sign up and accept payment, so the card details require to be entered manually. For those outlets with the machines that do not accept manual insertion, there is a workaround and we do have information that we can send out to businesses to assist with this process. And also the support team at Miconex is obviously on hand via both email and phone to answer any queries that businesses may have with regards to the sign-up process. Another factor that has been raised is the accessibility of gift cards, and that people want to be able to pick these up locally instead of having to order them online, and that the card would benefit from having a bespoke design that relates to Aberdeenshire to give it more of a local identity. There is a need to improve the search functionality on the website so that people can see in which shops in their town that they can spend the card, and this is something we are going to be working on in the coming weeks. So moving on to year 2, we have now secured funding for a further 12 months under the LACER fund. The funding will cover the cost of the cards, but more significantly, money secured will go towards marketing. The card will be promoted in the wider community by a multimedia campaign, which is to include radio advertising, leaflet distribution, along with internet advertising. And we are also proposing to attend some of the forthcoming light up events for Christmas and the farmers markets that are held in the principal towns across the Shire to try and get that message of the gift card out and to promote to businesses as well as the general public. So in the second phase of the scheme, there are enhanced features that are now introduced, which includes the ability to pick up cards in store and be able to load them online, which will cut out the present shipping cost of ordering a card online. We're in the process also of getting our design team at Aberdeenshire Council to assist with a bespoke design for the Shire, which will improve the appeal of the card to consumers and help to give it that local identity, which we think will help its attraction appeal. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. This slide is possibly one of the most significant, especially from a business perspective, in that funding of 1.3 million has been secured under a COVID economic recovery funding package that has been awarded to the council by the Scottish Government. And this money will be invested into the economy by the Loves Local gift cards. So the plan is that Aberdeenshire Council will be distributing gift cards early in 2023, and those cards can only be spent within businesses that are signed up to accept the card. So in order for your business to benefit, you need to be part of the gift card scheme. The project is expected to support both residents struggling with the cost of living crisis and local businesses recovering from the coronavirus pandemic. The actual details of the disbursement is not actually finalised as yet, but watch the space. Further details will be coming soon on that. So as a call to action, I would encourage you to sign up, encourage other businesses in your town to sign up, share the details of the scheme on social media, display your window stickers, which are issued once you become part of the scheme. And if you are interested in having a stock of cards in store for customers to pick up, then please do get in touch and we'll do our best to ensure that you do get some of those once this feature is enabled. Okay, so the final slide this just shows the main social media sites on which the scheme will be advertised. We've got a dedicated page on the Aberdeenshire Council website which explains the scheme in more detail, and there's also a set of business and customer FAQs which are very useful. I should also add that the website will be updated as the project moves forward, especially with regards to forthcoming disbursement of LASER funding. And just also to point out that there is the dedicated email address specifically for the gift card, which is the Aberdeenshire Loves Local, aberdeenshire.gov.uk. So feel free to use this for any queries and a member of the team will be able to get back to you. Okay, so that's my slot finished just now. So I'll just hand over to Alex from Miconex, and she's going to explain more about how the card works and how to sign up.
Thanks, Lindsay. So just getting on to how the cards themselves work. So the Aberdeenshire gift card is a preloaded MasterCard. So if you at your business currently accept MasterCard payments, you have the ability to accept the Aberdeenshire gift card. There's no additional software or anything like that you need to install in your store or any changes that you need to install at your terminal. All you have to do is complete the really simple registration form. So the form itself is online and it's 3 parts that you would have to fill in order to register. And it doesn't cost you anything at all to register, nor does it cost you anything over and above your normal MasterCard charges in order to accept the gift card. So in terms of accepting, it's super easy to get signed up and there's no financial burden on your business at all. We simply want to use it as a way to drive extra footfall into your store and give you another method of putting cash in your tills. So as we've already talked about, the gift cards themselves are sold on the Scotland Gifts local website, and as Lindsay's discussed, there'll be the option to pick up the cards in person in various locations throughout the businesses in Aberdeenshire. So again, if that's something you're interested in doing, I would suggest getting in touch with Lindsay directly. So one of the main benefits of the gift cards is the appeal across different sectors and for different people. So at Miconex, we've recently been doing a little bit of research ahead of the Christmas period just to get a feeling from both employees and employers on the benefits of purchasing gift cards. So we had some really interesting feedback, and over 99% of people that we interviewed were really keen to support local businesses over the Christmas period and ensure that the money and gifts that they were giving out to their staff was staying local. And as well as that, a lot of folks that were receiving gift cards were making purchases at businesses that they've never visited before. So it's a really great opportunity to get your business in the eyes of people who maybe wouldn't have had an opportunity to visit without having a gift card. And again, over and above that, not only are people spending the money that's on the gift card, they're choosing to spend over and above. And what we've seen from the project in Glasgow was that not only were the customers coming in and spending the gift card with your business, they were making repeat purchases after that. So it's a really great opportunity to connect with new customers who may not have been able to come into your business without the gift cards ahead of that. So if we could just pop onto the sign up slide, Suzanne, that would be brilliant. So as I discussed, it's a 3-part registration form. It's really, really simple. So all we're asking from you is to pop in the details of your business. There is a test transaction that we ask you to carry out at your business, and that allows us to link up your terminal to our wider system and will then allow you to accept the gift card. So on the form, there's details of a test MasterCard, so the 16-digit number on the card, the expiry and the CVV. So we would ask you to pop a £1 or nominal transaction into your till and make a payment using these card details, and it will subsequently decline. So there's no funds moving in or out, and we pick up that detail in order to link up your terminal. And the third and final part is simply some terms and conditions. And if you're happy with them, you tick the box, hit submit, and then that's you locked and loaded, ready to be signed up. So there's a maximum of 5 working days between doing the registration form and your business subsequently appearing on the Aberdeenshire gift card website. It typically does not take that long to go on. Most businesses are up and running within 24 hours. And within there, you receive an email that comes back to you with some assets that you could pop out on your social media just to help promote that you're accepting the card and drive some customers into the business. And as well as that, on this Aberdeenshire Scotland Gifts local website, your business will be displayed, and it'll take you, the link takes you straight through to your business's page. So it's a great opportunity to advertise your business on another medium. And again, if there's any kind of PR campaigns or opportunities to have your business just get a little bit of extra good news stories out there. So if there was a really good result that you've had from the card, or if you wanted to do a little bit of further advertisement, the opportunity is also there to do that. So as discussed as well, we've got a full support team on our end at Miconex. So if you have any queries throughout the sign up process, or once you're registered, if you want to get in touch with us, their support email is on the registration form, and we are happy to answer any queries that you might have. So we would ask that once you have signed up, that you do promote your participation. As Lindsay says, she's going to pass in a window sticker, and that just lets the customers know that you're accepting the card. We would also ask that you filter the message out to all of your staff so that everyone that works with you in your business knows that you're accepting the card, and any customers that come in are having a really good experience when they're spending. And on top of that, we would also ask, if you're rewarding your staff this Christmas, that you would consider using the Aberdeenshire gift card if you're looking to give them something that will be a brilliant gift and is also going to support your local community at the same time.
Lovely. Thank you, Alex, ever so much for that. And thank you to all the speakers. I think that's been a really clear run through of how the scheme works and how we hope to develop it over the coming year. We're very confident that we can increase the take up both from a business perspective but also from a consumer perspective too, and that this really does have the power to drive footfall to our town centres at this critical time. So I'm happy to now open it up to any questions. I haven't seen anything in the chat bar as yet, but we did have one come through on the email, and that was asking, if you have more than one business premises, how do you register for that? I don't know, Alex, is that something that you can assist with?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that one. So if you have multiple businesses within the Aberdeenshire area, there's no limitations on how many of your businesses that you could register. You would have to complete the form for each of your businesses to ensure that there's an individual listing for each business on the website, but you can register as many businesses as what you have in the area.
Thank you very much for that. So I can see there's a few hands up. So Susan Stewart, come to you first. Do you have a question?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yep.
Yes, sorry. Am I okay? I've got 3 questions.
Yeah, go for it.
The first one is, well, thank you for the presentation. It was very comprehensive, and I've probably missed something just just in the 30 minutes. I'm not clear how this is benefiting low-income households.
Okay, do you want to ask all the questions and then we'll come?
Yeah, the second one is just looking at the Aberdeenshire registered companies at the moment. I'm curious as to what the best approach, with my business association hat on for Visit Ballata. I'm just curious what the best approach is to engage in the businesses through the business association, and I've got some ideas on that, but my experience on the business association, it is pushing treacle up a hill sometimes, getting businesses engaged. And the other thing is there something that we could do for our members by promoting this actually on our website and having it front and centre, that they're paying attention to it, rather than me sending emails or promoting it on Facebook, or even going walking around the village and speaking to everybody?
Okay, thanks, Susan. Those are all good questions. Firstly, on the business association engagement, do you have regular meetings? We'd be more than happy to come along and talk at a meeting.
Sorry, I'm struggling for words, because it is extremely difficult getting the business community engaged. I was curious about what you said about the face-to-face. I personally do not have time to go around every single business face-to-face. But I was just, and coming to meetings, yes, but there's always a low turnout unless we offer a lot of booze, which we can't keep affording to do. So I think for me, probably the best way to do it is, if we can, is promote it on the Visit Ballata website for our members, and then to target a few businesses, potentially with that face-to-face approach, so that they start talking more amongst themselves as opposed to it being driven from the centre.
Absolutely, yeah, we can certainly help with providing information that could go onto your website, and we have started going around the towns. Obviously, Aberdeenshire is a big area to cover. But
yes.
We have found that face-to-face engagement really helps, and where you can help us is perhaps by saying which businesses you think might be most receptive to it, so that we can target those ones first and get a few lined up initially.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quite
absolutely.
well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I completely understand for volunteers it's very difficult to commit the time to go around and
Can I just jump in for a minute? Hi Susan, I'm Alison Pollock. I work for E3 Business Support Agency in Aboyne, and I have a number of clients, and we also have another branch up in Huntly, which we have about 200 clients between us. And really, I came along tonight to see if I could find out some information so that I could share it with our clients to see if what benefits were available for them. And you know, we are into phase 2 of our project now, so we're going to be starting meeting some new clients, but still speaking to those 200 that we still have. So I like the idea of going out with something like this and communication to them to say, well, these are the benefits. I did link out the meeting tonight, but I'm not sure if anyone ever turned up. But at least if I can spread the word, and there is going to be a benefit for all the communities, then that's part of my job. That's why I want to be here, and that's what I want to do. So I'd be delighted to help with anything I could.
Fantastic, thank you, Alison. Really appreciate that. And we do have already written out letters and FAQ information for the businesses that we can share, and maybe we can partner up and do it together. That helps us as well with our resources. That would be great, thank you. And just going back, Susan, to your first question about the low income households, we do actually have a colleague on the call tonight, Annette, who is involved with that side of the scheme, so she might be able to give a bit more information on that for you.
That's great, thanks very much. My name's Annette Johnston, and I'm the Tackling Poverty and Inequalities Coordinator, and I work right across Aberdeenshire with a range of partners. And as you heard in the presentation, other local authorities have also used this card to help low-income households. So what we're doing in Aberdeenshire is the funding that we've got through LASER funding, we are front-loading the cards. We know that there is around about 11,000 young people and children living in poverty, and as a local authority we gather an awful lot of data about households across the Shire. So what we're doing at the moment is pulling together that data, and we will be sending out those cards to targeted households of low income to make sure that January, February isn't as bleak as what it could be otherwise. These cards will be front loaded. They will be sent out to those households after we've analysed the data. It will be right across Aberdeenshire, and we will also be able to support local people who maybe otherwise did not go into some of the retailers or use some of the services in their local area. We'd be supporting them to do that. And a number of our low income households are members of our lived experience forums, and they're helping us with the marketing of these cards, and they have been vital in making sure that when we are at the stage of putting the cards out, that it's not just a social media, but it will be word of mouth, and it will be a bit of a thank you for some of those households as well. So that's how it's going to benefit them in two ways. One, it's going to put money in their pocket that they wouldn't already have. It'll give them an opportunity to actually go and buy local and maybe explore some of the businesses and services that they wouldn't normally have either. And because we're taking it out in January, February, we know traditionally those are the times that people worry the most about bills coming in. So it's a really good time to put some extra cash in their pockets. And we are targeting those low-income households that are being most affected at the moment, and that is right across Aberdeenshire. So I hope that answers your question.
Could I just follow on from what Annette's saying there? I probably should have covered it in the presentation, apologies, but I think it'll support both what Susan and Alison has also asked about. One of the main things you want to do is ask, why would your businesses want to get involved? So all the money that's going out to the residents in the Aberdeenshire area, it can only be spent via the gift card, which is closed loop, and that means that only businesses within the Aberdeenshire area are eligible to register. So every bit of the money that's going out to these low-income households is coming back into businesses in the Aberdeenshire area. So it's vital that all the businesses that are part of your organisations register to really see the benefit from that. And that's what I would really encourage anyone who's on the call this evening. As well as the typical consumer and corporate gifting that goes on, there's an exponential sum of money that's going out into your local community that has to be spent in businesses within your local community. So it's really key to encourage the businesses to be part of that, give the people that are getting the cards the best choice, and really shine a light on your business within the Aberdeenshire community.
Fantastic, thanks Alex. Susan, is that helpful for you?
Yeah, that's helpful. I think there's a longer conversation, but I don't want to take up any more for anybody else. But Annette, I wonder if you could let me have your email contact details, whether you just put it in the chat box so I can pick it up, so I can follow up with you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. So next, I think we have a question from Duncan Leese.
Hello, yes, thank you. I wanted to question, throughout the presentation, you've very much concentrated on talking about town centres and high streets and towns. And we're a destination rural business with our garden centre, restaurant, gardens that are open to the public. And I'm just wondering if all of the marketing and advertising is going to be aimed purely at town centres and is going to miss our kind of business altogether. I actually think it's a very good scheme and I am interested in it. But what I'm interested in is a sector that we already do quite well with, which is day out destinations for families, often multi-generational families. And just to give you some examples, our Halloween trail that's just finished, we set at a low cost, £1 per child to do, so that it was accessible to families of all different budgets. And we've just had somewhere between 250 and 300 families that did that trail. We've got a very low cost breakfast with Santa coming up shortly. We really feel that there's a huge potential for that kind of activity, which I think this card could work with. But if everything is going to be focused at town centre and visit your local high street, that's not going to work with our kind of business.
Okay, thanks Duncan for that question. I think you've raised a good point actually. I think naturally within the council our work tends to focus on town centres as a priority area, but this card is absolutely for every business across Aberdeenshire, and it's for our villages as well. There will be people who will be receiving the card who live in villages, not just towns. So we need to make sure that in our messaging we don't do that particular focus all the time, and days out, trips out are just as important. There are a number of Scottish heritage sites that are already on the scheme that people can go out to. So it isn't just about shops, it is about that multi-sector approach, and I think your offer over at Boyndy would be really welcome, something extra into the scheme. And as you say, because it's low cost as well, that's an added bonus. So Alex, I just see you want to come back in.
Yeah, it was just to pick up with Duncan on his query there as well. So as Nicola discussed earlier on in the presentation, although you'd be joining the Aberdeenshire gift card, the Scotland Loves Local is a wider scheme and campaign, and we do various different PR pieces, blogs, articles, focusing on many different sectors. So there's definitely an opportunity to highlight businesses of all varieties and of all calibers. So please don't feel that your business would be pushed aside just because it's not on the high street. You're welcome. If you look through the Scotland Loves Local website, there's some really great examples of the variety of businesses that we work with and have had really great success with the programme. And also in Glasgow, where they've done a similar project as to Aberdeenshire Council is planning, it was over 900 different businesses that received redemptions. So there definitely wasn't any one business or any one sector that was receiving the benefit from the low income cards going out to families across the area. It was really a massive mix and a lot of diversity in the businesses. So I hope that helps you consider your participation in this scheme. I think it's a no-brainer for your business.
Thanks, Alex. And Nicola, did I see you want to come in as well quickly before you have to shoot off?
I think Alex has probably just summarised exactly what I was going to say, Duncan. That over the Glasgow project and actually all the way through Scotland, we have an awful lot of businesses that on, you know, they're not high street retailers or anything like that. So there's lots of opportunities, and please don't think it is just about retail. We actually have seen that in certain areas, those things about being able to support families, to give their families a day out and to be able to assist with those things, to take them out for a coffee and a cake, or, you know, to take them out somewhere different. That's been incredibly well taken up by lots of local authorities, and not just where there's been disbursement. So yeah, it is a programme for all.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Nicola. Hey, does that help, Duncan?
Yep. Points taken. And I think you've taken my point that about,
yes, we have, yeah,
just being careful with the marketing.
Yeah. No, I've made a note of that, and we'll make sure we factor that in. So thank you for raising that. Next we have Jerry Bryant. Jerry, did you have a question?
Hi Suzanne, I was looking in the chat and I believe Jackie also asked this. It was, can these cards be used online? I haven't been able to find anything, but if you don't have a physical presence, you know, can you still participate?
Thank you very much. Alex, do you want to come on that?
Sure, no problem. So any business in the Aberdeenshire area can register for the cards, and I think whether you've got a bricks and mortar presence on the high street or whether you operate locally as an online retailer, participation would typically be down to the discretion of the local authority area. So if you wanted to register your business, I'm sure Suzanne would be more than happy for you guys to come on board. if you're able to take MasterCard payments for your online business, there's nothing that would functionally stop you registering.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so as long as you've got some way of taking online MasterCard payments, the card should work the same way. It doesn't require to be either physically used in store or contactless.
No, so the cards themselves, as I said, they're prepaid MasterCards, so they've got the full 16-digit card number on there, expiry and CVV, so the card users can make payments as they would an online payment.
Okay, thanks for the clarification. That helps.
No problem at all.
Only thing as well to say is that what we don't want to have is just the big online retailers, your Amazons or anyone like that who just operate in that way. This was really about supporting those that are based here in Aberdeenshire. Did I see something in the chat there just come up? Oh, how quickly can we have a branded card, Susan? That's something that we're looking into for year 2. We've got our design team are working on designs at the moment. So correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, but I think we can start looking at that in the coming months. And it will have a very much more Aberdeenshire feel to it, so that it stands out, and it will stand out on the website as well. So
yeah, that's absolutely right.
Lovely, thank you. And someone else with their hands up, David Don, do you have a question?
Yeah, hiya. I've got a local post office and convenience store in Cairnbulg, and I was wondering if I wanted to take the cards into the shop as you're suggesting, how would that work? Do they come preloaded, or do they customers just pick them up? How does that work?
Okay, I'll hand that one to Alex as well.
Hi, David. I'm happy to pick that up for you. So the way that the businesses would hold stock of cards is we use a system called Load This Card. So rather than click and collect, it operates like collect and click. So you would have envelopes that have got the Aberdeenshire card within them, and the envelopes themselves have details of the Load This Card website. So the customer would come into the store, they would ask you for a card, and all you need to do is hand over the envelope to them, and they pop onto the website and load the money onto the cards via that website. So there isn't any kind of training or anything you need to do other than have the cards there, put out the word about them, and pop them over to the people that are coming in, and just let them have their regular good experience that I'm sure they have in your store at the moment.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. I'll probably will be signing up, and anything that potentially gets customers into the shop sounds good to me. So thanks for answering.
It's a great driver for some additional footfall for those that are wanting to come in and pick up cards, and then they'll load their card and they've got the option of spending it in your store straight away if you're registered too.
Well, hopefully.
Fingers crossed, we leave that one down to you.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem.
David, Duncan, I can see your hand up still. Is that an old question or is that a new one? Just wanted to check.
Yes, apologies. I'll put it straight there.
No problem at all. Okay, is that everybody then? I can't see any more hands. Checking the chat. I think that's everything. Right, well, in that case then, if there's no more questions, just want to say thank you again for your time tonight. Thank you to our speakers for joining us and sharing the information. Can't say strongly enough how great we think the scheme is, but it really does rely on as many businesses as possible getting involved. So if you want to find out more after tonight, please feel free to get in touch with us. But even more importantly, tell other people about it, tell your business contacts, tell your friends and your family about the scheme and about the card. Our initial push really is about getting as many businesses on as possible, but at the same time, we will be raising that marketing message around for the consumers so that they know that this is an option for them to spend, whether it's for Christmas presents or throughout the next year as a way of giving friends and family a gift. So thank you once again. I really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll hear from some of you in the coming days.